about the percentile of people, the population where it's lacking, and it's female. And don't get me wrong, I'll speak to family members that are male, and they'll look at me like I say Bitcoin, and they're like, "It's a scam. What are you talking about?" They're like, "What? Who,
Yeah.
where?" So I'm like, "Okay, I'll talk to you in 10 years," But like, so I'm so happy you're on today. So we are basically
Yeah.
starting this whole brand new concept where we can. I want to put like Montreal on the map, and I have like news that I was going to launch shortly. But Keith, one of the guys here, we're actually partnering up. So they're going to be sponsoring all my Kaza Crypto podcasts,
Love it.
events, NFTs. If they get involved with the F1 or they launch more Bitcoin machines, or I become like they want me to be a face for Kaza Crypto. So that's why I wanted to start this channel and start to get like key players such as yourself to jump on. May it be every week, every 2 weeks, every month, and maybe you can say, "Hey, Paul, this person's interesting. Let's get them on. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get this community vibrant." And I want us to be known as the OGs because we're right there. We're at the
Well,
cusp.
we are.
We're
We
right.
are.
Hmm. Yeah, like
It's
in
interesting
today's.
that you
Yeah, go
say
ahead.
that because, that was the one thing for me was at the very beginning. First of all, let's recall where we were 2 years ago. It was pandemic. People were locked up. Quebec, Montreal, we were like forced, right? Like, and I think for a lot of people, speaking to the US and friends from all over the world now because of
Hmm.
crypto, it is so clear to me that what happened in Montreal, although we are a small community of Web3
Right.
crypto enthusiasts, what ends
Right.
up happening is we have to just sort of go back to the past, which was we were locked down, we were forced to stay home. And so, again, back to my story here is I just kind of
Hmm.
felt
Hmm.
like, well, where can I find this information and who else knows about this? And it was starting to become difficult because we couldn't just go out to a coffee shop and ask people, hey, have you heard about this stuff? Right. So I was like going on Twitter, which
Mm.
again, when you work in news, like a lot of my friends used to laugh at it and say, oh my God, you have a Twitter account? Like only politicians and like news reporters have a Twitter account. But that's where
Right.
the community lives and breathes. It's on Twitter, which now is called X. But it's been such a fun 2 years of trying to figure out what's going on. Because if there's one thing I know, is that I already thought the news did not sleep, but crypto is on a 7-day
I know.
cycle. It never sleeps.
Like,
It's
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah, 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 yeah,
wild.
yeah, yeah.
It is completely
And
wild. And even today we're
what's
doing this and we're like, we're going to talk crypto news. I'm like, it's probably already changing as we're doing this.
as we're speaking, whatever knew before we got on is already now ancient news. It's
Exactly.
gone. And that's what I feel like because I'm besides being a musician and an artist, and I've been blessed to travel the world, and I won MTV awards with other artists, and I have albums, and now I have an NFT collection with the new album. And you see that one's like a Bitcoin. It's on
I love
crypto.com. They're
it.
minted. Those are kind of like duplicates, but anyways, it's cool. It's a whole other world what I'm doing, and that's why I partnered with Casa Crypto. But yeah, like I feel like it was those days when I was in college, and the internet, like YouTube and stuff, was like new, and every morning there was something new. Every morning was something new, and that was hard. It's every second now, everything. And it's
Yeah.
not just one, it's a plethora of a gazillion million things new that
Mhm.
are erasing whatever you learned 5 minutes before. And it's moving so fast. And then if you add the AI element to it with all this stuff and the metaverse stuff and and also with the economy and how they're hedging Bitcoin as the new gold. Like just
Yeah.
today, actually, I want to present it, but I don't know if I could present it. I might make a
Yeah.
mistake,
Let's
but
try it
I'm
out.
going to
Try
try
it
that.
out.
If I click present, maybe slides, extra camera, video, share screen. Okay, so let me find it first, and then I'll share the screen here first. It's just
So while
there
you're
was some
setting that up,
shoot, yeah.
maybe I can maybe explain a little because it's so funny. Today, actually, it was last night.
Hmm.
We had for the first time ever, we had one of our parents called us
Hmm.
saying,
Okay.
"Hey, I heard about this Bitcoin stuff, so I kind of want to buy some now." And
Bitcoin.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I love
And
it.
we
Yeah.
we looked at each other, my partner and I, and we were like, "This is the moment. This is actually the moment we've been waiting for."
This is a
You
moment,
know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Right? It's
right.
like Oh,
But
um, this is the actual moment, and it was, I will say, it kind of caught us off guard, and we were kind of laughing, like, "Damn, I wish I bought more."
what's funny is that I didn't expect you to say that, because I was just talking to my friend saying that the moment that every Joe and Mary and Tom and Harry and Melissa gets in, that's the that's when they're going to make me the millionaire, because they're like, okay, they believe in it and they're putting in 50,000, 100,000. Maybe they're
Yeah,
taking Royal Bank and they're taking dividends, and they're just saying, let me try this, because it's going to pop to 500,000, because they're hearing the news and the narratives and stuff. But it's crazy you just said that, because I didn't expect to hear that. Like, my mom has 2 Ethereum. I gave her 2 Ethereum just for fun. And it's like, what is this? And then every time it gives her an update, Coinbase, she's like, why is it down like 20%? What is this? Every day it's down, but now it's up, and she hasn't told me anything yet. So it's like, it's hilarious.
yeah,
But so it's kind of like so cool. It's like it's faster than the actual like adoption rate is really quick. It's because Facebook took what, 15 years for our parents to be on it, grandparents to
I
be on it,
know.
to use it. So like
Yeah,
Bitcoin now, it's the 4 year cycles are so monstrous that it's like catching
mhm,
fish in the deep ocean. You grab a billion new people every 4 years. It's not just
yeah.
every 15, you know?
And I want
So
people to
yeah.
understand too, I think, the reason we're seeing it pump right now, so it's like currently at $44,000 US, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of us, like, I'll be honest, I'll say this first. I had put in an
Mm-hmm.
order a few weeks ago, and then I finally got
Uh-huh.
confirmation, like, your order did not go through, because I thought it was going to go down
Right.
again. And in fact, it did
Mm-hmm.
the opposite of what I thought it was going to do.
Yep.
But the reason being is because they will be, there are these rumors. Let's just keep, this is the journalist hat that I put on. There are rumors circulating that
The
BlackRock
ETF.
will be getting this
Yeah.
ETF. They're moving
Yeah.
for this ETF, which, and this is sort of what I explained at a festival I went to a few weeks ago, because it was speaking
Mm.
to normies, newbies,
Mm-hmm.
everyone who's not in
Mm-hmm.
this space. I feel bad
What
when
was
we're
the
like
age
newbies.
range? No, but that's what
I
was
would
the age
say there were
range?
some young people, and then definitely
Wow.
older groups. So again, like the
Oh, wow.
60 average, which, you know what? I will say it's not surprising to me. I always tell people, so I'm in my early 30s, but I always
Mm-hmm.
tell people every time I go to crypto events, a lot of younger people. When I say younger, I mean like 20-year-olds. And then it's the older. I actually don't see a lot of 30-year-old. Like, I actually don't see my age
Mm.
group when I go to events,
Yeah,
everyone
they
would
still
choose
think it's a
all.
scam. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. They're still like, you know what? My dad did this for 35 years and I'm going to do the same. Like, they're kind of in the same, like, 9 to 5 picket fence job. And you and I, like, we do that. So we're already weird as it goes. Like, I always say, like, I've always been weird, as the girl on TV, like,
Mm-hmm.
she's weird. Paul's like the artist, like, what is
Mm.
he doing? So we've already been weird,
Unique. Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that word better. We're
Let's go
unique.
positive.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so going into crypto, I would say I don't think I shocked my parents. I think they were just like, "Okay, yeah, she's doing another thing." Like, she's doing
That's
something else.
hilarious that they think of it that way. That's so interesting. So we kind of like a black sheep
Yeah.
almost, because I kind of relate to that. Because in music, uh, long story short, when my dad came here, because I'm Italian, obviously by Lizzie, it's Paolo
Me too.
Lizzi, but Paul Lizzi. Oh, you are? Oh, cool. So this is
Yes.
it. We're done. It's cool. I should put an Italian flag behind this over here. All right, dope. Ciao, grazie, come va? And my dad was like, "Well, you know what? You can work at a bank later on, and on the weekends you can make some cash playing music for corporate events and weddings and things." When we were
Yeah.
young, because his dream was to play guitar, so he gave us the gift of playing music. But lo and behold, nobody knew that he was going to be the Michael Jackson of fathers, where he would lock us up in the hot water tank room, that type of thing, and don't get out till you practice and get it right. And so we would
Mhm.
have like singing lessons and drumming lessons and things lessons. And then you had like, it was so hard, like on all our family, like my brother, myself, my sister, we're all musical. We all sing, we all play instruments. And we kind of excelled. We started like a band that played in corporate events. I was like 12 years old. I was like this small little kid
Wow.
behind the drum set playing for like, and my brother and I, we started like this band that played everything from corporates to weddings to birthday parties. And then that exploded to where people discovered me, artists discovered me through my vocal teacher. And they said, come play drums with me and maybe
Yeah.
add your vocals to ideas on songs. And then one person led to another, and then another. Then I was touring with them, and it was just a long story. So I understand because I'm always kind of like that. He's still doing music. It's like what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
It's like
you,
hello. Yeah, it's like crazy.
it's
So
it's so interesting because I keep playing with this idea, and again, to go back to that festival, it was called the Diversity Wealth Festival. And
yes,
I don't know about
yes,
you,
yes.
Paul, but it's interesting because even when I attend events, it is more of a diverse crowd. And what I'm getting at is it's a lot of people that come from struggling backgrounds, struggling
Mm,
communities, people who
true.
struggled even to Canada. Whereas Italians, you know, not to diss on Italians, but we've been here for a while. So it's
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
actually been harder for me to talk about crypto with my
mm-hmm,
actual community. Whereas with
mm-hmm,
different diverse people, they get it faster because when you talk about being your own bank, when you talk
mm-hmm.
about being worried about the government, only those who have suffered get it. Those who have been here, the luxury of Canada is amazing. Like they don't understand what I'm talking about.
And they adopted all these things where the bank takes care of your money, all the stuff that you're
The
breaking
trust. Yeah.
their web of beliefs are being literally broken to the core with this. It's like pouring apple cider vinegar all over it and it's just going to dissolve and they can't accept it. They can't accept the same thing with it's same thing on my side with my family and some of them that are married to my family members that are Iranian or Arabic or whatever, and they're still kind of closed minded. They look at me like as if I'm like I belong in jail. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm like, okay, it's cool, it's no problem. But that's what we're here. We broke that norm. See, I'm Italian, so we kind of maybe broke. We're the first two Italians in Montreal, Quebec, Canada that broke the norm because
I
it's the
think
same for
so.
me. To
Yeah.
digitally, I need to reach out. I just did a podcast with Wales from the
Yeah.
VV app, and
That's
these guys are
awesome.
multi-millionaires. One's in Australia, one's in New York, New Jersey. The other one, he
There
didn't
you
want to tell
go.
me where he's from, near Boston, whatever.
That's a
And
real
he didn't want
crypto
his
guy.
name. His name is Crypto Rain. I don't even know his real name, but he's there. And these guys have been in it for 7 years. They've seen two bear markets, two bull
Wow.
markets. They've seen everything. So these guys got into projects early, similar to because it was a VV inspired podcast with their NFTs
Mhm.
and Omi the token, and they just basically they got it at the bottom, and when they got it at the bottom, it skyrocketed, and they made millions from it. And these guys are now the whales of Vivi, and they know everything about anything about anyone about just as I did because I got into in 2021 with the bull run. Same thing happened
Mhm.
to me playing music galore, 4 or 5 times a week, trying to plan the next tour. Egypt, I had talks. I was this, that. Okay,
Wow.
let's go here. And COVID destroyed. And I had a recurring event in Old Montreal where I was doing like this supper club vibe where people come and eat. There would be a DJ, my guy, a musician, myself, electronic drums.
Wow.
I would be singing, and then I would like mash up to the song, and then they would play my song. I would sing, and then started to get popular. Midnight people coming in, and boom, COVID lockdown. So, and before that, I was like digital marketing for Buffalo Jeans, Seat. That's what I
Wow.
was doing before. Yeah, yeah.
I
They
worked
they
at
called in the
CL
pot.
too for a short
No
period.
way. Yeah, it was super short. I loved them to death, and but there, it was funny with Seat when this was happening, I was on Vivi and I got the first Walt Disney Mickey Mouse drop ever on Ethereum that was dropped. Whatever, I got one by fluke, and it was shot up to 50,000. I got it for $300, shot up to 50,000 in the secondary market. Super crazy. Long story short, I remember telling the owner, I said, these 20 coffee books that you're advertising in, because I was in the digital marketing space. I said, these 20 coffee books that are on who knows where that nobody's opening anymore to see your marble ad that costs 20
Oh my
grand
God.
per page. I said, just get rid of 10 of the books. You'll have $200,000. And that was the time when Snoop Dogg just set up his plot of land on Decentraland. I
Yeah.
said, right now the auction started at 1 ETH, but in a week it'll be probably at 100, like it'll be 100 grand. You know what I mean? It'll be like whatever it is, 20 ETH, 30 ETH. I remember that. And so lo and behold, the auction to have in the Snoop Dogg neighborhood, it was about 100 grand to do it. to get a little plot of land. I said, why don't you guys take 100 grand out of the 200 grand and buy land next to Snoop Dogg and sell him virtual marble for his house.
Yeah.
Let's make virtual marble. She
And what did they
looked at me
say?
like she was just ready to fire me. She was like, my digital marketing manager in Toronto was like, Paul, if you say that again, I don't think they're going to keep you on anymore because it's crazy what you're saying. It's like I became a running joke. I became a joke in the sense. But they go, how's this going to help us marketing? I said, Forbes is going to pick up the story like that, selling virtual marble to Snoop Dogg
Yeah.
on Decentraland. It's better than
So
any
funny
coffee
that you
book.
say that.
And then who knows? Maybe everyone else is. You're going to be the first marble company digitally selling this stuff. So,
It's so funny you
and
say
then
that because
I'm so
I
tired.
I went I went to like a and we'll talk about this because I hear your frustration and I'm not a
That's a
psychologist, but like
therapy.
lately I've been telling my partner and I'm like, we need to stop trying to convince people because now we sound like we're culty. We're in a cult and like come with us. And it's like and I learned it the hard way because like look,
Uh,
I got into crypto. I
mhm,
understood what was happening. I was like, okay, this is going on, it's happening, whatever. And then
mhm,
I built Girl in the Verse, which Girl
right.
in the Verse kind of englobes everything you're saying. At the very beginning, what is the metaverse? What is that going to look like? Who's going to be there? On which, blockchain? Like all of these types of
Mm,
questions. And that's how I came up with like the Girl in the Verse. Which
I
verse? We
love it.
don't know yet because it's so early. But I just went to a dinner party a few weeks ago and someone was like, hey,
Mhm,
hey, you're
mhm.
the girl that's like in the metaverse, eh?
No
Like
way.
laughing at me. I was like,
Okay.
and I'll see you there. I was like, and I can't wait to see you there. But they were like joking, like they were laughing at
Joking.
me. But I was
Right.
like, you'll bite your tongue one day. I sound like
2028,
my
they're all going to
grandparents.
come
You'll
back.
see.
Yeah. Yeah. 2028, they're all going to they're going to make you rich, or they're going to say that, oh my God, she's OG. Like she's the GOAT, like, and that's why I love this pod. I love that we're doing this. We're starting something
Me
fresh,
too.
new, and I love it. And it's going to educate people. And it's not just shady characters anymore walking into a InstaCheck, meeting a weird Russian with an
Exactly.
Asian person at the front. It's real people now. And we believe in the
Yeah,
technology. Web3 is here. It's also very powerful because it gives back. We're in a creator economy. It's
we
been
are.
coined as of last year, where little niches, like if you have a Snapchat spotlight, for example, if Snapchat reaches out to you, say, here's a Snapchat spotlight for you, create your content. People make up to $600,000 like, I don't know if it's monthly or yearly, but it's up to 600 grand that they'll make posting stories. It's a content creator economy. So I'm here to absorb it. I'm here to relish in it. I'm here to educate in it. And I'm blessed that Casa Crypto took me on to give a bit of a platform where I don't have to be alone in this because I feel alone. And I told the whales as well on that podcast, I go, guys, I need to come on a Discord where you are all talking and shoot an arrow in the dark and saying, guys, I have 20 million Omi. I have the first Walt Mickey as well. I'm not anywhere near where you guys are, but this is me. Can you check out my site? And I would love to be on your next episode. And that's how it happened.
Mm,
And then Jordan Riz from Australia checked me out. Oh, I love your stuff, mate. Oh, it's great. And I'm okay next Monday, and I was on, and I'm like, my jaw's to the floor because I'm talking to people that are like almost like bit boys or coin bureaus or
mm.
all these, and I feel they're even more knowledgeable because they're like the everyday guy. They're not trying to be popular on social media. They're just guys that like
Yeah,
shoot a video and it's like wrong. It's like their head's like this. It's cut off. They don't care. It's not about popularity.
I
It's
love
just
it.
because they love it so much. So I love that the geek in me just goes with that. So I love
And
that
I
we're
think
doing
this
this.
is
Yeah.
and that's the point, right? And that's what I was saying before. It's not because I was coming at it like for the last 6 months, and I
Hmm.
will say this is like a learning thing for me. So I look at it as experience and a learning experience. But I was so heavily invested in on X on Twitter. I was joining a bunch of
Hmm.
Twitter spaces which are like clubhouse rooms.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I know, Spurs. I
got
know.
to meet a
I know.
bunch of people got to meet a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of people. And last year we traveled a lot. We went to Miami, we went to New York. Like we
Mm,
were just like everywhere. And I was always being asked to come speak as this girl, like, what are you doing? All this
wow.
content and all this video stuff, right? So it was
Wow.
really cool. Um, and then towards, I would say like beginning of last summer, when it was
Mm-hmm.
starting to get quiet, right? Like the space was getting quiet. You saw a lot of people leaving. A lot of people went back to work or yada yada, right? Just went on different things because crypto wasn't doing it for them anymore.
Yeah, it was at the bottom
I
of the
myself
bottoms. Yeah.
too, I changed my strategy. I was like, so I started a podcast and I was like, I'm gonna put this
Mm,
on YouTube. And then I doubled down on Instagram. Then I was on TikTok and all these things, which was great. But then I realized, and I kind of felt like I was just shoving this down people's throats in the sense of like, here I am trying to teach them, but I almost felt like I was convincing, like we were just talking about, right? I was like, oh my God, like I don't want to be convincing. I just want to talk about this stuff. And I just want people to come and ask me questions after, like, hey, I saw that you're talking about this Nike NFT with these sneakers and
yep.
like, and reach out,
Yep.
right? Instead of me being
Yep.
like, you need to do that. Like, so I kind of felt like change my whole, you know what I mean? But it's
Your whole
hard
approach. I get
because
it.
every day we're talking and it's like normal for us. But at the beginning, when I first entered, there was like language lingo that I was like, what are they talking about? Minting,
It took me eight
wallets.
months to figure it all out. Yeah.
There you go. But and that's and,
And
and that's my point. I don't think everyone has 8 months to figure it out.
and this
I
was
don't think
during
everyone
COVID. Yeah, and I'm a
exactly.
computer science graduate, which I grasp this stuff
So you have
super
yeah.
fast. So I would assume it's you know 2 times longer for someone else that doesn't have the time and is not savvy in anything internet, or cares to know.
Paul, my
Yo.
mom the other week, so Apple had an update, right? My mom the other week was like, I can't call you because they changed the button. And I was like, and so I told my partner, I was like, how do you want them to buy if they can't even? But, we're laughing
I
about
know.
this, but it is one of my
Well,
genuine concerns because I'm like,
mhm,
with technology, okay, and especially like me being a
mhm,
woman, and my whole thing is like, I really want to get more women here. The main thing too is the education around it. I think for such a long time, we just thought technology was like a whatever thing. Like, right, like my partner always tells his mom, you should have made me play those video games. Right? Like you
mm,
should have made me be better at this online stuff because
mm,
what I'm seeing is the discrepancies we will see in the next 5 to 10 years is how good you are with tech. How good are you using AI? Because the reality
mhm,
is, education is going to be the driving force of this. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you're kind of going to be left behind, is what I'm seeing right now. It's like Noah's Ark. Do you get this?
mhm,
You're either in this
mm.
boat or you're gone. And that's how I'm
Look at
seeing it.
Roblox. Yeah, look at
Yeah,
Roblox. There's kids on Roblox programming. What are these kids going to be in a decade? They're going to be monsters because this didn't exist before. They're
exactly.
going to be monstrous. Like it's like back then when you were whatever, when they were like the average 13-year-old 15 years ago was playing Second Life. It was a game. Roblox didn't exist. And it was like your avatar and you're doing stuff, whatever. I don't know if you remember Second Life, but I never played it. I just knew of it. But I remember seeing
Yes.
it, and there was an ATM machine that gave you Bitcoin for your own money to spend in Second Life. And those same kids are multimillionaires because they're just sitting on 80,000 Bitcoin because they took dad's credit card to buy money for Second Life. Like my heart hurts,
Exactly.
like my heart hurts. So imagine Roblox, this new tech coming in with crypto. People think crypto is a stock, but it's technology that removes the middleman. That's why I love Web3, because for the musician, they're still not getting it. It's the narrative of music and crypto is still to come. So I invested in a couple of music crypto projects because that's
Amazing.
still to come. We're still in DeSci. They say we're going into philanthropic. The narrative is going to change to philanthropic, like save the earth, oceans with crypto, carbon emission, carbon credits. That's what's coming next, apparently, from what I'm researching. But the narrative has shifted from AI to layer ones to whatever it is. Now it's in the pharmaceutical sector, and music has still, like, Spotify is taking everybody's money. YouTube is taking everybody's money. Like my YouTube channel is 25,000 subscribers. I released a video called Drum Lovin'. I'm drumming, I'm loving, I'm living my life. I was just like, I got him. I was a Mad Max inspired music video. It went super viral. And it's like I barely saw $20 from it. And it hit like 50,000 views in like a week type thing when I first released it like years ago. And they take it all. So Web3 basically
Paul, I have a
removes the
question for
middleman.
you.
No, no questions
No,
allowed.
but I want us to, because I
I'm
think,
joking. Yes.
I know, I know. I
Yeah. Yeah.
think, the core of this, like when I was telling you before, what really got me excited about Web3 and this possibility was owning my work. And I think too, to everyone
Yeah.
else's credit, is
Right.
that for a lot of people, they don't understand what that means. So like for an artist, right? Like I always hear my friends like, okay, well, Beyonce makes enough money. You know what? That's not entirely true. You know what I mean? So why don't you
Mm,
explain to us an artist, right? Like people think like they
hmm.
go on Spotify, I like the song, I listen to it, Justin Bieber got a cut. Why don't you explain to us how it works? Because you are a musician, you are
Yeah.
utilizing
Yeah.
these apps, and that's not really paying
Yeah.
your bills.
No. Well, it is because I'm performing live, so that's where it pays the bills. Well, thank God, because honestly, there's not many
Exactly.
people in Canada that can say that they make a living with music. I'm blessed. I am super blessed. Thank you, God. But being the artist is like the Maslow's pyramid, the top of the pyramid, where is to achieve that originality. So that's why I'm kind of delving into crypto and Web3 because for musicians, it takes 1 million streams to make about $4,000. It takes 1 million YouTube plays to get about the same thing, 2 to 3 thousand, depending on the advertiser and how long they watched. And that's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So you have to be everything. You have to be the chef. You have to be the deliverer. You have to be the one that built the kitchen. You have to be the plumber. You have to be the plunger for the toilet. You need to be everything to just say, hey, I have a certain ability that maybe can, because my goal in the end is to inspire people. So when I
Mhm.
saw crypto explode, I'm like, it's perfect because music has been part of me since I was a kid. I would go to Italian weddings at the age of 5, and they would give me a microphone, and I would sing in front of everybody,
I love it.
or they give me the drumsticks, and I would start playing drums, and I was like known as that musical rebel, and it just never stopped. And once crypto hit me, I'm like, man, this is so geeky. It's so me. I got to be a Web3 artist. So the next album will be on a decentralized platform. It won't be Spotify, you know, it won't be YouTube.
So
It'll
why
be
don't you explain
Audius.
to us what that means? Like, why did you start these NFTs? What does that mean for you
Oh my
concretely
God.
so that like people, yeah, I know it's like, how much time do you have?
Yeah, good night. See you. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Yeah.
Paul, is he checking out? Yeah, good night, everybody. Well, look, I learned a lot of things in a positive light. I learned a lot of things in the music industry. It's very vapid. It's very for the wrong reasons. It's super insecure, and I'm not that person. I'm here where if I had a radio show calling from whatever city and they talk to me about anything, I hope one person's on like listening and they get inspired and they do something where they become, I don't know, they make tables and they're carpenters and they make the best tables on the planet. Like I want to inspire people to be creators because I think creators will change the world, not the ones that just follow in line. So back to what you were saying is that I just believe that everyone's in it for the wrong reason. So I learned my lesson from all the negative stuff that happened to me. So all the good stuff that I have in me naturally, thank God, God gave it to me. I took it and I amplified it. And then all the experiences that were good with artists and other people and in the industry, I took it and I added it to my pot of, what wasn't given to me naturally that I didn't know existed. But then I took all the negative stuff, forgave, forgot, let go, gave back. And I took it and I shook it up and I turned it positive and I said, I'm never going to do what he's going to do or she's going to do or they are going to do. And just so I'm
Yeah.
a triple threat. I'm a triple threat because
Love it.
I have that experience. I have that experience. So if someone says to me, um, I don't know, why are you paying this person to help you out? They have no knowledge or they're just sitting down. I go, you have to pay people, even if it's $50, even if it's 150.
Of
Don't take
course.
advantage of people. Uh, Giving props to everybody, appreciating everyone around you, what you have. So it's a very humbling experience being in music, but not a lot of people think this way. And
Hmm.
they get caught up in comparing themselves to what they hear on the radio or what they see on TV. And that those 10 artists that they keep cycling is just not reality. They just got lucky. They hit like a jackpot. So for me, crypto, with my computer science background and being a geek, I feel like it was that other piece of the diamonds. Do I have it here? No, it's not being displayed at the moment. But these NFTs, basically, I molded them like it just came together. Music and crypto. I was like, oh, this is 100% me. So this is why I'm doing this stuff with you, or else it wouldn't make sense, because
Yes.
I only believe in being transparent and clear, with my vision.
The thing,
So,
Paul, wouldn't you say too? And I don't know if it's like the entrepreneurial aspect, because I look at my friends, right? And a lot of them right now, because we were talking about the creator economy, and you just made me think they were also saying that as of 2024,
hmm,
more and more people, I don't remember the number, but it just sounds like, let's say above 75% are
hmm,
Googling right now for 2024 side hustles. The thing is, Paul, I'm
yes,
sure, although I worked in news, I side
uh
hustled
huh,
on the side. I would MC events. I would
right,
create content online. I just like always found a way to unleash that
hmm,
creativity. And at the beginning, it was Instagram. I can
hmm,
I'm probably one of the only people who can say that on Instagram, I didn't only show pictures of my food. You know what I mean? Like at the very beginning, I
right,
understood that early on this was going to be something. And early on in my journalism world, I was also
right,
very careful what I was posting online. Right? Like I don't know if like
right,
you remember, but like I remember friends like, "Oh, now I'm going to become a teacher and now I have to change my account because these are my clubbing
right.
days." Like, so
No, you know
I
what?
just feel like
It's
for a lot of
scary, but it's,
people,
hmm, hmm,
yeah. So for a lot of
yeah,
people that they have their 9 to 5 jobs, and I always used to tell this to people, like honestly, I would tell people like, you are so lucky that you love your
hmm,
9 to 5. Like that is like the ultimate goal. If each and every one of us was like,
hmm,
I clock out, I go home, I'm good. I feel like that's
hmm,
that's like that's what everyone wants. That's the American dream. But
hmm,
everybody else has to find ways to diversify their assets, their portfolios. So, you're a musician, you found different ways to make money. I found different
hmm,
ways to make money. And crypto just made sense because I feel like I was one of those only people with a side hustle. So like
hmm,
I'm getting my friends right now. They're like, there's strikes going on in Canada right now. And everyone's looking at me like, I want to start a side hustle. And I'm kind of like, I'm not gonna say I'm surprised, but I'm almost like, and
hmm,
it is unfortunate because of the way the market is right now. And I think that's why two people are looking at different ways. But I will
hmm,
tell you, my true reason of having a side hustle from day one was
hmm,
because I was so used to, especially in media, it is and
hmm,
in music too, it's very cutthroat. They can love you
yeah,
one day and hate you tomorrow. And so
yeah,
growing up
exactly, exactly.
knowing that, right? Growing up knowing that, it was like, yes, I have this job for right now, but in
Hmm,
case something happens, let me work on this. And my whole like aspect of like looking at life was always like, well, I cannot just be put in one box. Like even
hmm,
being like that girl on TV for me was like, okay, great, that's one way, but I do different things, right? Like, it's just different for me. And so even like when I go to like the bank and they're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, fit into your box."
yeah,
No, like, I don't know, like.
right.
And I
No,
feel
I
like
get it.
crypto just gives people that, and it's like I keep saying the weirdos, right? The unique people, but I think it's also the ones I see that are in this space. First of all, let's go back to the age group.
Hmm,
Young people. So young
hmm,
people who I guess felt lucky that during the last bull, or during the last bull, they gambled some of their money, some of their Christmas money.
right.
They're like, okay, I'll put this all in Ethereum, and it worked for them, right? Or in
And it
Bitcoin.
worked for, right,
The same is
right.
true for the 60-year-olds. What I'm trying to target now or understand is why the 30-year-olds and the 40-year-olds are not getting it. And a lot of times, so my partner's a bit older than me, and I'm noticing too is his friends have kids, right? They're young dads, young moms, and I just think that, like we said, it took us 8 months to kind of figure this out. I think
Figure it out.
it's unrealistic to think that that mom just had a baby is now going to spend the next 8 months understanding what an NFT is or what the hell's Ethereum or like what about Solana, like that just came back, right? Like all these things. And so
Right.
I'm also like empathizing with them, but
Mm-hmm.
what I will say is this is for the curious minds out there, because if you don't want to dedicate 8 months, by all means, go do what everyone else is going to do in 8 months, and that's fine.
Right.
We're just
Right.
here early telling you, don't wait 8 months. Again, this is not financial
Right.
advice. We have to step on, not financial advice.
I'll
But
put it in the comments. Not
right. But
financial. I'm like, yeah.
if you're not a curious person, and I think that's why I mean is like I don't want to convince anyone anymore. It's more so that I just want people to understand
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this and it makes sense for me. But maybe because of my background, that's why I'm getting at, like maybe because of my journey, because I got fired one day to the next, because one day, like we're abolishing 600 jobs in news. And it was like,
Oh
I
boy.
remember being in that office, like, am I the next one on that list? Like that
Right. Right.
stress, if you've
Yes.
never felt it, you're lucky. That's all you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
you're lucky
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
we had to find different ways. Like,
Right.
look, you said you traveled. I traveled too. I went to Paris. I knocked on
Uh-huh.
a hotel and I said, hey, I want to do your social media. They're like, okay. And I worked in Paris
Wow. No
like
way.
this. Yeah.
Wow. It's
I
interesting.
backpacked for a year and a half, and that's how I went around in different countries. And I was like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
do this, or like, whatever. Like, I just made myself remove myself from like that box of like, I could only do news and whatever. And I just allowed myself to explore a little. And that's
But
why I just
yeah.
think like those people who have the 9 to 5, they got their little routines going on. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
too, like sometimes I think ignorance really is bliss.
Is
But
bliss. Yes.
if
Yes.
you're curious, if you are curious, and we're not here
Yeah.
saying this is a get rich, like we're just saying if you are curious, this is the future. Like this technology, the metaverse, right? You said kids. All the kids want are gift cards today to be able to go buy things in their games. And if you
Right.
don't get that right now,
Mm-hmm.
then speak to the kids. Like
Well,
I always tell
I
people,
discovered. Yes. I go ahead. Yeah.
no, 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 go. But because like and again, you hear it. I hope people, the audience hears like the passion we have, because again, it's like
Mm-hmm.
once it clicks in your head, you're gonna sound like a culty person too. I promise. It's just like
But I think we're starting. I think in this bull run that's coming, especially with, I believe the ETFs will be approved, and it's going to front run the bull run, and it's going to pour in 10 trillion to 15. Well, it could be 10 to 15 trillion. Who knows? Depends, because there's so many uh, asset managers out there. But BlackRock alone owns, I think, what was it, $10 trillion worth. So even if they were to put a trillion in or 2 trillion in, whatever it is, into Bitcoin, and even Ethereum, it's just that alone is going to catapult us to $5 trillion, and then everybody's going to jump in, and that's going to probably double. So we're going to be a 10 trillion market cap. Well, and keep in mind, in 2021, when Bitcoin hit 69,000 US, we were at a 3 trillion market cap. You know where we are today?
wow,
We're at a $2 trillion market cap today. We're at 2/3. We're like almost there, back to where it was. So
exactly.
and this is what I want to show you. If I could present it, I'm going to actually test this out. Share screen. Share screen. Oh, cool. I can actually choose it. Here it
Yeah.
is. Share. Look at this. BTC top 10 crypto versus January 2023. Like it's
Wow.
actually it's showing that it's up 167%. Like when we look back, we're going to say that January of 2023 is when the actual bull run began, because it's up 167%.
You're
Look,
right.
everything is up. Everything, like, but it takes time. You need like the technicals to kick in for the EMA. It's over 100, whatever it is. Like, so it always takes about a year and a half to confirm, or 2 years to confirm we're out of it. But these are like the signs that as of a year ago, Jan, we've never looked back, and I've seen that. Let's see here if I could come back. bear with me. Boom. Yeah. So that's the thing. I think the bull run started, and I think that's why there's a lot of people interested in wanting to know, even in this information here that I kind of popped up here. I think I stop that. Present, share, and I'm going to share this. Where is it? Window. Here. I don't know if you see this.
Wow. Oh
This is
my
the Google
God.
Trends. Google Trends, crypto and Bitcoin. So crypto's blue. So look, this looks like a regular Bitcoin chart.
Yeah.
So the trends of people on Google looking for Bitcoin is starting to go up again, and that's where we kind of are. It's like since 2018, So just to show what's going on, so we're on an uptrend again of people wanting to know what's going on. That's why I guess, as you were saying, you're speaking to the older generation. They're like, I want to get into Bitcoin, So that's what I want to just bring about. Maybe, but it's good that
It's
they're awake
so
because
it's so funny because like I just, when I first started in this space, and I keep
yeah.
talking about it because I do think, we keep saying we're early. And then, you know what? When I'm be 85 years old, I want to be part of that
Mm,
history book. I actually do. I do be part of the first females to have been here to have documented this stuff. So even in my early days when I first started in this space, and I'm hoping that eventually, like, I don't know, like I release these documents, or I don't know, like these screenshots of my little diary. But the very beginning, all I remember doing was trying to like piece the things like, what is a Bitcoin? What's an
yeah,
NFT? And like I was listening
yeah.
to a lot of these, like what you're saying, these big whales, which in crypto, that means someone who's investing a lot of money in this stuff. And I just remember just listening. And I think that's one of the most
Mm,
lessons I learned in this entire space is just listen to what people are talking about. And a lot of stuff today, like you're talking about music, but music to me makes sense. Fashion makes
mm,
sense. And I want to go back to
makes
those
sense.
kids because
Yeah.
the kids today, it is so different. I remember going to New York and being proud to go to like buy some fake Louis Vuitton. Okay. Like I
Yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
remember in my
yeah.
early days, like, well, I can't buy the real thing, so I'll buy the fake thing. Kids of
Right,
today not want to buy fake, right? Like the kids
right,
of today want the real thing. And now
right.
what's happening with the help of NFTs, with the help of all this blockchain, is that you're going to be able to see on their bodies, like Gucci is doing this right now. You get to take your
Mm-hmm,
phone, swipe it off the bag, and you know right away if it's real or fake. And that's the
mm-hmm,
world we're going into. And I know my mom,
mm-hmm,
do you remember when your parents told you to not put your information online?
mm-hmm.
And now they're shopping on
Still to this
Amazon for
day.
Christmas,
Right,
right? It's
right,
like,
right. Exactly. Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
When I opened up a Coinbase account for my mom just to transfer her an Ethereum, she's like, "Is this safe?" Because it's still there. I don't want to give my email, like that type of thing. It's hilarious.
it's so
Or take a picture because she had to take a picture of the KYC. Oh my god, it took so long, but she did it. Thank God.
right.
Uh, yeah. So.
And that's the thing is like the kids today, and like I keep explaining this because as much as we like to crap on the newer generation, what I
Mm-hmm,
find the
mm-hmm.
newer generation, first of all, remove this perception that this is this is how you run it, yada yada yada. This is the check, this is the list, right? Like check it off.
Right,
I find the
right.
newer generation has let go of that toxic. I call that like toxic, glorifying. Like your life is great only when you have XYZ, right? The white picket fence, you went to college, you have the good job, you
Mm,
do this
mm-hmm,
until you're
mm-hmm,
65. I think the newer
mm,
generation has scrapped that whole idea. So it's giving
mm-hmm,
us millennials a reason to be like, well, let's think like them. Like if they're okay with it, then we should be too. The other thing I
mm-hmm.
find it's done is it's allowed, and this is what I want to tell the older generation. As much
Mm,
as it's harder to convince like 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds that, the 60-year-olds get it because they went through crap, right? Like they went
right.
through a long thing. So they kind of get it. Like when you say, we're trying to be our own thing, we're trying to own our money, we're trying, like how hard is it for a bank to understand that if I want to send my friend from across the pond here some money, why is it that I have to follow XYZ rule? Why is it that my friend can only take out this money in 5 days? Like,
We're
Why
questioning
aren't you
everything
allowed
now,
to ask
which is good.
questions?
Back to curiosity. We're questioning
There you
everything,
go.
and it's again, it's going into a digital framework. So I agree with that. And but the thing is, a lot of people are scared to be custodians
Yes.
of their own crypto. Anyways, if someone tackles me and takes my
I'm
phone, that's
scared
it.
too, Paul.
You know.
I say
But
this
it,
all the
it
time.
yeah,
When I do a transaction, I like triple thousand check it
I know, me
because
too.
it's like one
You
of
get
those like
anxiety.
it's a good thing. Like I did this on stage once. I said, look, the reality is you get to be your own person. And you get to
Mm.
send money to whoever you want, and nobody is in the middle of it, right? It's literally
Yeah,
peer-to-peer transactions. If I want to send money to Paul, I can. No bank's going to tell
like
me when I can do it. No bank's going to limit my order. No bank's going to
yeah.
tell me that Paul can only remove this money in
It
5
won't
days,
take
yada
seven
yada, right?
business days. Won't take 7 business
But
days. That's it. Yeah.
but I always say if you make a mistake, there's no 100 I made a mistake and you send like there's none of that. So that's the like the scarier part. But I will say like once you get the
Yeah.
hang of it, right? It
But you know
gets
that
easier.
scary part? That scary part forces you to think. Hello, we're
Yes,
not
and
sheep
double check
anymore. People
and
don't
not
want
take
to
things
think
for granted.
anymore.
I
People don't
know.
want to think. People are tired of thinking, and it's because they just feel unfulfilled. So of course I understand that they just want to not be bothered and be comfortable and be warm and no problems and no wars and no, whatever. But we're too
Ignorance is
comfortable.
bliss.
And
It's been my new thing
but
this year. I'm like, ignorance is I'm starting
and the
to
crypto,
understand
yes.
that.
And crypto
Yeah.
opened up my eyes how in January of
Yes.
2022 they said crypto's a scam, and then by June 2022, oh, come buy Bitcoin with us. So they kind of like they controlled this narrative that just doesn't
Of
make
course.
sense. So well, it makes sense when you're the elite. They control us like puppets. I get it. I
Yes.
understand it now. I said it can't be that bad. And when I got into crypto, I'm like, this is 1% bad. The other 99 I don't see. I've discovered 1% bad, and now I've changed my whole way of thinking just because crypto made me think. What's so
I
wrong
also
about
want
thinking? Yeah.
I also want people to just again, I'm not a history buff, but I loved history
Hmm.
growing up, but I
Hmm.
had done a quick search on when women were allowed to open up their own checking accounts. And in Canada, that was in 1964. That's like
Shut up.
roughly
I didn't even know
60
that.
years ago. A woman was able to open up a bank account without her husband's signature. That was 60
She.
years ago. Okay, my mom's not even 60 yet. God bless. That means
Wow.
that means that that's not that far off. And I want people, and it's not just to make this like a women thing, like, but I just want people
Mm.
to understand how not long ago that was, right? And like because again,
Yeah.
I keep saying this, Paul. I'm like in Canada, we are lucky. This is a luxury here. I'm able to open up a bank account. I'm able to keep my last name. I'm able to go to work. There are still countries in this world where that is not possible. Where,
I know.
we've seen with the wars, there are banks that shut down. What do? Right?
Huh?
I always give this like thing where like, okay, so
We're
I
so
gotta move
spoiled. We're
country.
super spoiled. Yeah, we're super
Right. Like
spoiled,
I gotta
unfortunately.
leave. I gotta flee. I gotta flee this country. You think I'm gonna pack my all my money? My friends tell me, "Well, just put your money under your mattress." Yeah. So then when I flee, I'm gonna carry all this with me. Like just
Yeah.
picture it. Just like understand that because people are like, oh my God, but now you're talking about like, leaving your country. Well, because we're just giving people options. And I think options are where we are headed, right? So like
Hmm.
there's just so much, and I think
You
crypto
bring
just
so
gives
much.
us this. Yeah,
Yeah,
go,
you
go,
bring
go.
so
Tell
many good topics. No, this is what I love about this. You see, because
me.
this is such a great first episode. Because I love that you're so on. I just think we just connected. There's so much to say. There's so much that's in our brains, and there's so much that we can spearhead to inspire and educate others. Because this is information that a new generation doesn't have. Like you had said, they don't understand it. Like they're not there yet. They're getting money given to them through like hereditary money. They're not working for it. Like my grandparents moved here when they were 40 years old. Think about that for a second. Imagine being 40 and having to
Yeah.
move to a country that you have no idea how much snow
But
there
Paul,
is because there's no internet.
I
There's no internet. You don't know the amount of snow there is.
and I never take that for granted. I never till this
I do.
day, I always tell my
Sorry, I do.
mom, I'm like,
I'm taking it for granted,
uh,
unfortunately.
"You
Yeah.
do?" See,
I
I
just
don't.
feel that
So I'm always like, "Yeah, yeah,
I'm
go." You take it for
appreciative,
granted.
but I
It's
feel
interesting 'cause I
I I take it for granted because I appreciate it, but it's almost like it's because it's been given to me. So I don't understand my dad having
you
to
were
go
born
from
here, yeah.
from Italy to Germany to find work, and then finally his brother said come to Canada or New York. He had cousins in New York. He should have gone to New York. Damn it, not Montreal. But he
Paul's
chose
like,
Montreal.
"Why
I
did you
missed
pick
it
the right?"
by my cousin should have
I
been
say
more
the same
forceful.
thing. I'm like, "Why didn't we go to Toronto?" And now I'm like, "Meh."
Or Australia with
It's
cousins
so
in Australia. Why not
oh my
Australia? Oh, come
god,
on, let's go.
Australia, it's
So
so beautiful, isn't it? I love
I've
Australia. That
I've
is like,
performed. I've toured. I toured there. I performed there 3 times. It's a. I was almost about to get my citizenship. It was like I fell in love with Australia.
God, you should,
I
Paul. Now
performed.
we gotta go into a whole other
I
discussion, like,
I didn't
where are
have
we
a.
moving next?
Well, that's the thing. Now with crypto, you can move to El Salvador, Portugal, Dubai.
I'm thinking of it. I don't know about you, Paul, but I actually am thinking of it. That could be a whole other topic next time, but, um, this is something I legit told my mom weeks ago. I said, "Mom,
Yes, the
don't
exit
take for
strategy. No one
granted
talks about exit strategy. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't take for granted the life I was given here because again, like growing up, like I will say I was one of the first to go to university, right? It was like a big thing. Then I worked in television and
Mm-hmm.
I never took it for
Mm-hmm.
granted. I just felt, like you said, lucky, right? Like, okay, I can do this. But now it's the reverse, right? Now I'm thinking, okay, so this was the better life when it was their chance to leave. Now, if I get the chance to
Yes.
leave, what's my better life looking like? And I don't
Isn't it
think it's
funny? It's
here.
almost karmic. It's almost karmic. We inherited that karmic energy. Sorry, now we're going to a spiritual crypto part of it, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
know,
But yeah,
but I don't think it's here, Paul. For me, it's potentially not this place. Like just yesterday, I was on this like holiday like meet and greet last night, and they were like, "Oh, we picked up a card, and your card is where would you live? Anywhere in the world?" And I said, "Not here." And it was like so funny because. And I will say, I also believe in like manifestation, but I keep telling everyone around me. And for those of you who don't understand like Italian families, you need to start telling them now. You tell them now, so when you do leave, they're kind of like, "Oh, she kind of told me." You don't like you break the ice like months and months in advance. But I've
right,
actually been
right,
considering it, Paul, because we're in
yeah,
crypto. And the last
right,
thing I want is for my government right now to tell me that I'm not allowed to be doing what I'm doing. So you
right.
bring up a good point because I actually am thinking of going somewhere where I won't I won't feel like they're like watching me in the streets, like, oh, she's that crypto. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of like want to just go live
I
my
think we're
life now.
past that phase. I think we're past that phase.
You
I
think?
think we're past it. I think so
Hopefully.
because I think I'm a direct relational, I guess, statistic where I I would like to have you on this platform speaking of it
Yeah.
because I think the subconscious is getting there. And again, you said
Yes.
your older generation wants a Bitcoin, and the trends are starting to go back up where people are saying a half. Because the thing is, I think that back to your thing, why aren't 30 and 40-year-olds on it? Because 30 and 40-year-olds like us are so blessed with having a job that pays a certain amount of
The
money.
bills.
You have maybe, yeah, and maybe you have some money that was given by the parents. Maybe you have a building or two, because the new generation, the parents are buying their condos. The parents are giving them $100,000. The
Yeah.
parents are gonna give, like, they don't have to do anything. The parents are just giving it to them. But in our generation, that's a little older, we weren't given that. It's still old school. But the thing is that Bitcoin at 15,000 or 30,000 or 40,000 is too risky for them. Bitcoin at 500,000, all of a sudden it's like, maybe I could take 5 grand and get into crypto now
It's
because it's an
that
amount
meme.
that can make me get out of the world. Get like it's the
It's that
FU
meme.
money.
Yeah, yeah. It's that meme.
Mhm.
You know, like they have like the two
What is it?
stands, like Bitcoin at 16K now, Bitcoin at 45K. And the
Yeah, and
lineup is
they,
like, I
yeah.
want at 45. It's
Yeah,
the
so that's
meme.
what I think. That's exactly it. So I think that it's worth it for them to get involved in something that is talking 6 figures because that supersedes their lifestyle. And they're like, what's going on? And they see 16-year-olds with a Binance profile that shows $99 million because he's been buying Ethereum and Binance and Bitcoin since
Yeah.
2013. This guy's like, what the hell is going on? So I think
Yes.
it's starting to become their language of things, numbers they understand, the amounts of what their mortgages are, salaries, payrolls, is starting to reach those levels where they're like, so you're telling me if I put $50,000, I may have $1 million in a decade from 50,000? Where am I going to get? No one's going to hand me $1 million in return for 50. No one, you know?
No.
So, so it's kind of like we're starting to reach a narrative where people understand it on their own terms, you know? And I'm happy that they're all late, because all these fudders and negative talk and people that don't understand it and call it a scam and say I'm crazy to do an NFT project that I minted on crypto.com, which basically each NFT, it's like a story of my journey as an artist since the age of 6. Like I
And
don't
it's
want
on
to
the
get into it.
block.
It's on the
Yeah.
blockchain. It's so cool. And I sold one. No one, but one day when I'm performing in Australia, I'm gonna say whoever bought the one with the universe on it, whoever got that, my promoter just approved that you can come to Australia for $3 grand and come VIP and come meet the other
There
artists
you go.
performing at this big festival.
And I
It's
think,
40
you know,
bucks.
when
It's
I
a
see
token, you
music
know.
NFTs, yeah, when I see music NFTs too, I always think about, and I did this on my show on my podcast because we talked about Taylor Swift and like everything she was doing and how
Mm,
hard it was to get tickets in Canada. And I was getting so frustrated because I was saying, if she had NFTs, and like I always try to explain to people, like, but I'm like, NFTs gives you what we used to have as kids, which is like that
mm-hmm,
CD, that waiting outside in the rain to get an actual
mm-hmm,
ticket to a show. But
mm-hmm.
now owning a piece of their digital world can get you those perks, can give you, and you never know. It's like joining in the VIP club. You know how like you go to a concert and you see like some people, they're like, they're in this section and that section. And that's what it's going to give you. It's not going to be for everyone, but it really is going to. And I think too, what people don't understand, because we're the consumer, but I put it
Mm-hmm.
in your shoes. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
know who loves you. You're going to know what age they are. You're going to know what they're also buying. You're going to be able to partner with
It's
other
peer to
people.
peer. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And that
Yeah.
is something that I think for a lot of people, they don't understand. So like, oh, well, whatever. But for the person who's like the artist, the business side of it, like Starbucks, for instance, Starbucks started their own NFTs in the US. They're not here in Canada yet. I'll let you know when they are
Yeah,
because
it's
I'm
true.
waiting.
It's true.
But
Right.
they started their NFTs, and basically it's like they're now getting real data on how many times a week their consumers going, what they're buying, what their favorite drinks are, and all these things. Like you and I are like, who cares? But for Starbucks, that is
You're right.
gold
Huge.
because, and I just want to keep reiterating this, we keep talking about
Yeah.
Facebook. Facebook
Yeah.
started as like, I just want to talk to my college friends online. And now it
Yeah.
became a data business. So there's
Yep.
one thing I want people to understand right now is data is your ticket to freedom. It's
Hmm.
the data
And
behind
what's
the company.
and it's between
Yeah.
you and them. It's between me and the fan.
Yes.
So if a fan buys that and then that is attached to a song or whatever, maybe the journey of when things got hard. So I made an NFT that depicts that, or when things got good, or when I found crypto, and then I put the Bitcoin one on my face, and then there's one of Egypt, the pyramids, where I performed in
Love it.
Egypt, Alexandria, and I saw a UFO in the Sahara Desert, which is another story. But anyways, it's just like crazy stories on the blockchain. And the other thing too is what you're saying. I want to touch 3 points. I don't know how much time you got, but we can go like another 20 minutes or so. I don't know if we can go. I can go on till 3. I can go on for another hour,
We
but we
can
can go like
we can
another.
nerd this out forever.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do this weekly. I'm down for doing it weekly.
Yeah,
But
I'm
anyways,
down.
I I'm down, and we'll just promote them. We'll invite guests, people that you feel that are worthy of getting on and adding their 2 cents that we can learn from. And but anyways, long story short, you said so many good things that touched upon the points of
The
number
artist.
one, yeah, the artist. But the thing is with the no, it wasn't the artist. You had said something about right, that they connect. It's peer to peer. That we're going to see at the end of the decade because there's way too many fraudulent non-caring factors involved. Like Gary Vee started a V Friends NFT
Yes.
restaurant in New York, and everyone's scamming the doorman. He doesn't know if they're real V Friends, and they let them in. And so there's a bit of I don't care. Just getting paid to be a doorman. I'm not really like the adoption rate and at Taylor Swift's level. It needs to be so infallible that it's going to take another bull run and someone else to kind of go through it.
Yes.
And I'm hoping I'm that guy. I want to do a crypto tour in Canada. I want to headline crypto, like just in general. I want Casa Crypto. Uh, There's so many things on my brain right now, but just to say, yes, entertainment. This is why I also got into Web3 crypto. I added it to my niche, Web3 and artist, musician, because A, it makes sense because that's who I am. B, all the artists I worked with, God bless their soul, that I learned everything good and bad from them and became a better person. They would never, they gatekeep everything. They gatekeep everything. They'll gatekeep their producers. They'll gatekeep their marketing strategies. They'll gatekeep that person they know from the MTV Awards that'll maybe give them a bump up. Factor Canada, they know someone that will give them a $50,000 grant because they know someone. They'll pay them $2,000. They'll gatekeep. They'll gatekeep all the secrets and all the cheat codes for themselves. I met these guys. Okay, I go to one of their events. It's all crypto entrepreneurial and
See?
the guy Keith that doesn't want to be a musician or artist, or he just wants to make Casa Crypto the next Mac store. If you want to know how to
Yes.
trade from here, if your phone broke and you know how to put a new seed phrase into the new phone, we'll help you. Need to sell Bitcoin? We'll help you sell it. Like any question, crypto educate. You want a Bitcoin coffee? It's there. Like from El Salvador, it's there. The beans are there. So it's like everything crypto. They want to be like the hub. So I go to this event, which was just a networking event, and I just said, "Oh, another networking event. I'm not really sure I want to do this because everyone's trying to impress everyone, and everyone's trying to, So I'm like, okay, I'll just go speak to people. Who does he introduce me to? The first person he introduces me to, the first person, his name is Jean Paul Murassian something, and he's the CEO, VP, Vice President of Feldman Group. Feldman Group is basically when Shania Twain tours Canada, Feldman Group is the booker. Taylor Swift has
I just went to Shania's concert too in Montreal.
Feldman Group is the one that
Wow.
books them in all the venues. And Feldman is like the goat. It's like saying Evenko, but Feldman is above
Yes.
Evenko. Like if Elton John
Wow.
wants to do a tour in Canada, it's Evenko, but and Feldman gets the last okay to go. I
Wow.
met him. He won Entrepreneur of the Year award last year, and just talking to me. Oh, you're here for the cool. Oh, yeah, I know Keith. Oh, no artist in the world would introduce me to John Paul of Feldman Group. People would slit my throat to talk to him. And what's the first thing I tell him? I don't talk to him about music. I talk to him about, hey, I want to interview you on my next podcast with Casa Crypto. So we're working on it. That's why so hopefully the next one will be him talking about being an entrepreneur of the year. And the other
Yes.
beautiful, yes. So that's the other reason why I started doing podcasts, community,
Yes.
because I need to highlight other people. That's another thing I learned in the industry of entertainment. Everybody needs to be a star, including the
Yeah.
busboy,
Yes.
including the graphic artists that made your graphics art. They're more important than you, but you're the one that is the face of it. And they don't give you the respect, that type of thing. So I said, you know what? Let me go up a notch. Let me give them 90%, 99% of the light, and I'll take a little 1% in an organic way because I'm truly inspired by other people's stories. I'm truly inspired by you, what you're doing, because
Thank
I'll
you.
say crypto and people turn off.
Yeah.
You're making crazy videos, branded videos. You know what you're saying? The word Solana. People don't say Solana out loud. I think they get shot when they say Solana. Sure. So, because Solana is such a
No,
scam
you
website.
know
Anyways,
what?
that's another
You know what's funny, Paul, is I went to
thing.
this Diversity Wealth Festival in Montreal, and we're very early in Montreal. So like
Mm,
you're right, because like I said, I went to Miami. They were like, they got it. Miami, they've got a whole Bitcoin bull out there
I
soon. Like
know,
they're
I
all into
know,
it.
I
Miami's
know.
like super into it. You go to all these different, you mentioned Portugal, also very big. I'm actually trying, hopefully going to Lisbon in June for their Lisbon
Mm,
conference. I'm praying that I'm able to go. But
right.
in Montreal, we're so early. And I was there and I was talking about Bitcoin. And the reason why I'm talking about Bitcoin right now, and we both are, is because Bitcoin really is different from every other coin. It's just different, right? And so I
Yeah,
always say, like, when I'm always trying to explain it to newbies, it's like, listen, if you talk to the Bitcoin people, they're going to tell you Bitcoin is not crypto. It's its own thing. And so let's just say that it's gold, right? Let's just, it's like your
right,
digital gold. But
right.
then, so I'm discussing like why people are in crypto, and I was explaining, like, people want to be their own banks, and people are of the banks, and people are, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People that came up to ask questions. What about XRP?
Right,
What about Doge? I heard about Dogecoin, and I'm just there like,
right,
Paul, I was like, how do I keep a straight face? Because then it's like you said, how did they and where did they find this info?
right.
What kind of marketing genius on Instagram sent them Dogecoin
That's
their way?
that's talk in the streets. That's coffee shop talk. That's coffee shop talk. Because a lot of people, me
Oh,
too. When I'm having coffee, people are like, "Oh, I got some Dogecoin on Binance. I got maybe $100 worth. What is that? I just heard about it." Ooh, so it's like
I
cool.
don't want to
Okay,
be
but at
laughing.
least they're
I
in.
do not want to be
No,
laughing at
but
people. Dogecoin
no,
may
but
surprise us in the next years. But you're right. It's probably coffee talk shop, because I was like, why are these questions it? Because again, we're going to go back to this. When you start doing the research and you start getting curious, you realize that Dogecoin, that's not where the whales are at. The whales are not talking about,
yeah,
but it's not Dogecoin. Like Pepe is,
no.
like, for me, like, a lot of whales talk about Pepe way more than Doge.
Right,
So,
right. It's funny, and I think even
okay, so
Pepe just
see this?
rug
I didn't
pulled. But
know.
anyway, that's another story. Yeah. No.
Yeah, yeah. But
So that being
so
said,
I didn't
it's a
know. That's like
beautiful.
it's coffee talk.
I think it's all coffee shop talk because when I hear the old men speak at the coffee shops in Little Italy, or because that's the only place that I can hear them, besides complaining about their mortgage, their wife, and what they did in high school, now they're
Oh,
talking crypto, and I'm like,
wow.
uh, or the weather. They complain about the weather. So
Yeah,
it's like
that's a
now
Montreal
it's
thing.
like
I think everyone complains.
yeah. So now the cryptos. When I say, hey, what do you think about this and what do you think about that? They know of it, but they're not talking openly to it about everyone. That's why I love that we're starting these broadcasts, these podcasts,
Yeah.
because it'll bring a renewed sense of like, oh, this is real people now talking about it, and again, it's not to get famous. It's not to. It's just this is what it is online right now. Eventually, there will be. What was the statistic? When there will be more than 3.5 billion people online with quick, fast internet, the world's gonna go like this. If we only have a
Yes.
billion people online right now, and we have a big say of how this world is being run. You know what I mean? Trudeau can't get away with what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like other people around the world can't get away with what they're doing. Sam Bankman-Fried, and people are hunting him down in the Bahamas. Bitboy went to go hunt him down. You know, he went to the Tether office in Bahamas. Bitboy, I remember, and that place is like it's empty. It's like a fake address. USDT. It's a fake address, and then they find
100%.
the real
Yeah.
address, and then a security guard comes up to and says, "Oh, you can't trespass. You can't come." So it's just like I feel like we're the real people, and I feel that this could be something bigger than us. And digital's the way. And I don't understand why. Uh, I'm happy that now that the crypto is and Web3, where it gives power back to the people that want to create
Yes.
their own money. We
Yes.
don't have to be stuck at a job we don't like for 25 years anymore. And we have the luxury now where, again, the newer generation has this hereditary money that's being thrown at them that they're not starving tomorrow. They're not starving tomorrow. But again, they're kind of soft and lost in that process. But they can go out and venture and start a business for a year or two and then start making revenue. They can start doing podcasts twice a day and start bringing. They have the extra time, and they don't need to really work. So we're kind of there, and I love the power in this, and I want to be the music guy in it because the music narrative still has been untouched. It's untouched. Music has, in your field of research, there has not been any type of music narrative that exploded audience to the world, or it's been Decentraland, it's been, metaverse stuff, it's been Ethereum, layer ones, maybe, like now AI came into the thing, and now Binance says they're looking into pharmaceutical, DeSci, crazy words, next philanthropy. So music is coming, and I want to be
Music
that
is
guy,
here.
and
Music and gaming, I will say, are the top two for me
in
right now.
gaming.
Paul, we can even talk in the future. I am
Mm,
one of the first creators that's actually going to start using. So, this is still fairly new, but Snoop Dogg
mhm.
actually came out with this new app that is again trying and hopefully, putting money back into the creator's wallet, which is creating content on a new app where it's I would no, you know what? I'm not even going to compare it to other apps because it's very
Mhm.
different. But I am one of the first creators that is like joining, their first round of beta testing. But basically,
Right.
utilizing these platforms to get paid in crypto, to get paid like send me like coffee
Wow.
money, like.
Right,
So we'll
right,
see
right,
what
right.
happens. But it's funny because it's a lot of musicians entering, it's a lot of gamers, it's a lot of, and what I'm saying to older and even to the young kids, but the young kids just get it. And I think it's something that for the 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, like it's hard for them to wrap their heads, but their kids are getting it. I don't know any
Right.
kid right now, even a 1-year-old, I see them on phones, like they already understand someone's taking a picture of them.
Yeah.
And if you notice, a lot of the kids today, when you say I'm calling someone, they're not like this. They're like this. Like they
Right.
hold it differently. Um,
Right.
so it's
They
so
look at the screen
interesting.
to
And
see
I'm
a
always
face. Right.
exactly. And I'm always
Mhm.
telling the older generation, it's not whether or not you like this. You need to be ahead of it because, like I said before,
Because
my
yeah.
mother gets a
Mm.
new, Apple update. And she's like, I don't know how to call you anymore. We're like laughing about it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, Mom, you need to go take a course. Like you need to figure out how your phone works because the next evolution of it is going to be 10 times bigger. And if you're
Yeah.
late now, I'm really truly worried, Paul, and it could just be me, but I'm worried that
Mm.
if you're late now, it's going to slip away because you will not have mastered what's coming. The same is true about AI. A lot of my friends are teachers. They're freaking out about this AI stuff. I keep
Mhm.
telling people I have now, you know, I wanted to have a VA, a virtual assistant. Well, now guess what? The AI is my
ChatGPT.
virtual assistant.
I know.
Exactly.
Amen.
But I'm
I know.
still here. Paul's still got to write the music. Paul's still got to go out and perform, but
Who
he's
do you
going to
think wrote all the
utilize.
descriptions?
There
I
you
can't
go.
write 15 descriptions that are super, like I just put like point form and make it
Detailed.
amazing and
Yeah.
then switch it up, and you can't do it anymore. Like, and I've always said I wish there was another me or three of
Me
me. Now it
too.
exists for $20 a month.
That's
So
what I
amen.
think.
So
Exactly. So
we're
no, Paul, I was just gonna say, like, so that's like my main message today for everyone who's listening. It's you know
the
what?
problem is
Go
that
get curious.
money touches too much of the ego and what's right and power and greed. It's so intrinsically installed like deep in us that it's hard to shake that belief. It's hard
You're
to
right.
tell them something else because it's money is the core of their existence. It's the
Yeah.
reason why people are successful. To some people, for me, success is being kind. Kind is the biggest flex on the planet. Being kind
So am
is the
I.
biggest flex on the planet. So it's like that's what it is. Actually, I think even Gary V tweeted it two
Yeah,
days
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Kindness is the new flex. But this is where I've been
So funny.
forever. So it's like,
No, but you're right. You're so right. And that's why too, it's like even like apart from money, like what all I've been trying to tell people is like
yeah,
just understand that you now no longer live without your phone. If you get that,
right.
then just understand that this is not like whether or not you like it. It's just what is going to happen.
It's
Like the
going to happen
same is
whether
true
you
about
want or not. And you can fall behind
exactly.
or you can get a bit of, because this is going to be the last super cycle that's going to happen. Once the ETFs are
Yeah.
in and regulation comes in and everything soars up and it's legal and everybody gets into it, it's the last big boom that's going to happen for Bitcoin. It might be sitting at 150, 250, 500. And then it's going to come down a bit. It's going to slump. It's going to be the dinosaur gold bar. And then Ethereum is going to start to go up to 30, 40,
Yes,
50. But they're control now. They own Binance, the U.S. government. That's all they're doing. Coinbase is now owned
I know.
is BlackRock. Coinbase is BlackRock. USDC depegged for about 4 hours, like USDC, and USDC is BlackRock and it's Coinbase. It depegged like Terra
Wow.
Luna, where it depegged. It depegged. It went down to 93 cents, and I already knew that within a day or two they were going to find all those billions of dollars to to bring it right back to par at one. And guess what happened? They came back to par. It went from 99, 93 cents, 92 cents, right back to close to $1 or whatever, buck 10, about whatever it is. So it actually depegged. But because BlackRock, the biggest people on the planet for investment management, that they hold $10 trillion, they now own Coinbase. They went in, tick, 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 tick. You need how much? 450 billion. There you go. It's not depegged
Exactly.
anymore. But Terra Luna crash. Internet crash. It's because they're not with the big boys. So right now everything's clumping together, and eventually it's not going to be these monumental swings of
Yeah.
super cycles anymore. And when it goes high, that it hits six figures, and Ethereum's at whatever it is, and I have a lot of Ethereum now, it's like those people are going to be aping in, making me the millionaire. It's going to be too late. So it's like
Hmm.
it's either you get in now or you get in kind of when you get in, or and then all the narratives will start. Then music is going to jump on it, and then this is going to jump on it. Tokenization of concerts, and
Oh
your
yeah.
driver's license will be an NFT. Your mortgage will be like David Guetta sold his home in Miami. It was a condo, $40 million, South Beach. He got Bitcoin, $40 million worth of Bitcoin
Wow.
in 2021. He was the first one to
I
ever
did
do
not know
that.
that.
And they use
Wow.
Floki. They use Floki real estate agents in Miami. They use
Yes.
Floki for transactions. I'm like, why using Floki? But I don't think they do it anymore. But it's like now it's on the blockchain. But it's like, how do you send $40 million worth of Bitcoin? You need an NFT or something that says now it's yours. Now I send you the NFT that it's yours. This is the deed, the ledger. So
Yes.
I don't know how they did it. They probably had notaries involved, but
Yes, of
he got his
course.
money.
It's
He
so
got his money in
interesting.
three to 5 minutes. So, and
Yeah,
no bank was
exactly.
involved.
3 to 5
And that
minutes.
40
You never
million,
get that with the
that
bank.
40 million in Bitcoin, 40 million in Bitcoin. Let me make the calculation.
Wow.
It's and this was like when it was lower than it was now at 30,000. I remember the price. So his 4 million is now 8 million, 40 million is now 80 million in Bitcoin. I don't know if you see the potential there. He doubled his real estate, his thing, because he got it about 30 grand per Bitcoin. Now it's
Yeah,
at 60 grand. So now it's 80
it's
million he
crazy.
got for his condo.
It's amazing.
We
I
need
mean, look,
to, it's
it,
going, it's going there. It's going there.
I know, and
Yeah.
look, I'm excited for it. There are days where I'm like, man, I got in late, but you're never late. Just start doing the research because, like we said before, it took us a long time. So allow yourself this time. Like it's winter now. This is the best time. Don't be on Netflix every night. Like I always tell my friends, like I'm
Don't
a
be
creator.
scrolling mindlessly. Hmm.
I'm a creator. I create for social. I don't go there to spend my hours on there. The same is true about Netflix. I'll go in to watch what it is I got to watch, but at
Right.
the end of the day, take that time and I think for a lot of people, it's almost like they got out of school and that was it. It's like no, continue
Right.
learning. Learn
Right.
whatever it is you want, right?
Right.
Learn about this stuff. If it's interesting to you, of course, but
Right.
take the time to do it, you know? So that's my like PSA.
Stop
Um
mindlessly scrolling on Instagram and start to educate on this, because this could change your life in the next 24 to 36 months. Or by 2028, you can probably live in a different country
oh
comfortably,
my god, I cannot wait.
you know?
Paul, we're
But
doing
people
it.
don't understand that. Well,
I
I'm definitely on the train. I'm on it. Like it's crazy. Like I'm investing. I have made so much money in the crypto world that I stopped working 9 to 5. I stopped working at the Seats and
That's
the Buffalo
awesome.
Jeans, and I stopped. And now music is the full time. It's kind of cyclical because obviously it's not
Yeah,
always.
music.
Only as of June, it's kind of picked up again. We were the last ones out and the first ones. Sorry, the first one's out and the last one's in music. Like COVID, destroyed us. It's only like months ago that music has come back, and we're in the top 1 percentile of musicians that they call upon to perform. And
Wow.
forget about artists. Like artistry, it's like I did a show here at Casa Crypto. About 30 people showed up, and we did the NFT launch. And it's not easy. It's not easy. And
No,
I'm regarded as a well-known. Say my name to any musician or entrepreneur, they yeah, I know him. And so I'm known, but I'm not known. And I've been around the world still, and people know me there and they don't know me there, but they so I'm kind of like at the cusp of, so I feel like the crypto world is my last piece of who I genuinely am, to add to this music that when I was 5 years old, that my dad scolded me to rehearse and practice my vocal lessons, and I just did like this. And now I'm trying
so
to
beautiful.
be the best I could be and bring other great people like you that inspire me. You're not here because I'm using you to make me popular. No, I'm alone. I need a community.
I
I need
know.
us to start this whole generation of revolutions,
I
and
agree
hopefully
with
we
you,
can get
Paul.
on it next week and say, hey, let's get Web3 person that I know, and maybe I'll ask the guy from VV that has
Yeah.
200 million OMI, has $500,000 in OMI alone, and he has he's like in the top 5% of the most collectibles, and people are saying, oh, it's going to hell, it's going to shit. And he's like, no, this thing, he goes, you're going to laugh. I'm going to laugh at you in 2025. And these guys are
It's
ordering
amazing.
Cybertrucks. He has two Cybertrucks coming to him now. He just told me, order two Cybertrucks. They're 100,000 US each. How much money does he make in crypto?
That's
so,
wild. It's
so,
it's been so fun to do this. I'm so happy we got to do this. I'm so happy that both of us
yeah,
were like, let's get on this. Let's do a show,
yeah,
because you're right. We are so alone, and that's why sometimes I'm like, you know what? And let's just keep this between us. We're just live and nobody else is watching, but there are
yeah.
days where
LinkedIn,
I will say
YouTube,
no to
Twitter.
my normie friends just so I could do
Mhm.
more crypto stuff. Like, it's just, at the end of the day, it's not to separate people, but you also
To
need to
get it.
hang around with the people who get it too, because or else you're always gonna feel
Yeah.
like the black sheep. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And I'm fed up of talking about mortgages and real estate. And those days are gone. I'm fed up
That's
of hearing the
over.
weather. I'm fed up of people complaining about that they don't have things to do that inspire them. Well, just get off the phone, start getting like get uncomfortable, learn this, do that.
Yes.
Like I'm doing a podcast now. It's like I feel alive, and this is how I feel when I perform. I take a mic in front of 20 people, 200 people, 600, it's the same person. I'm alive. So I know that I'm touching the
Yes.
right frequency, and I know it's only going to bring the right people. And what's funny too is that I met the CTO of ShakePay, the chief technology officer of ShakePay, Zan Taludar.
That's
Sorry, he's not
amazing.
watching probably, but he's like, I'm sending a message saying, hey, what does your team think about the fact that quantum computing might break the algorithm to guess the hash code, the seed phrases for what, because it's been spoken about. It could happen in 10 years, quantum computing. I'm like, what are you guys going to do? And he goes, let me pass it by my team and I'll get back to you. And I'm not really sure. Like, I'm literally like, no more than the CT. Not that I know more, but I'm deeper in it than
You're
the CTO.
questioning.
Like, yeah.
And
And
I think
so,
that
anyways,
too, like, you're right, and you bring up such good points. Like, I actually, we talked about Gary Vaynerchuk. I like such a big fan of his for so long. And then last year, hey, does Girl in the Verse want to come and talk at the VCon stage? And I was like, this is so surreal. So I got to do
really?
that. And to your point of like, the space is so early, but this is our chance. And I'm talking to me and you now,
Opportunity.
because everybody else who's like gonna comment, you guys are scammers, because I get that all the time on YouTube
Hmm.
and TikTok. We actually get a chance to talk to the CEOs. Like, that's something I feel like
That's insane.
we couldn't have done before, right? Like, you're talking to the guy who shaped it. It's like, when would this have happened if not for this new technology? And so again, it's just like, we're so bullish, we're so
Right.
excited.
And
I
we are,
can't
you
believe,
said we're kind
you
of
know,
late, but we're still early. And that's why this is important. And that's why next week
yes,
we got to choose a topic and let's talk about it. And
yeah,
let's just go weekly, even if it's an hour and a half. I think that may be enough. But for both, I can keep going. But I actually have to go perform soon at
yeah,
downtown
yeah. Go
Montreal.
perform. I'm so happy we got to do this. No, like, poor Paul, like, go perform,
Uh,
and hopefully we can even meet up. I would love to come back to Casa Crypto. I love the gang there. Love their
Yeah, we
cookies.
can
Oh my God.
maybe stream. I didn't try one because I'm a clean eater. I can't do it. I got
Yes,
to
I
make them
know.
my own. Or
I only tried it that first time, and like,
uh-huh.
I
Their
may buy
coffee is
one.
good. Casa
Coffee's
Crypto's
good, yeah.
coffee is actually good. From an Italian, it's actually good. It's pretty. I was surprised. I thought I was gonna get dirty water, but it was actually good. I can't complain. But so yeah, no. So look again, everyone out there, when you find this video in 10 years or whatever it may be, the first OG episode that started here with Paul Lizzie, Melina with Paul Lizzie, we are here. We're gonna keep doing this. So I thank everyone in the future that's gonna catch this episode. And again, tune in, subscribe, leave messages and we'll be back, I guess, maybe next week, Melina, right? Maybe with a
Yeah.
guest. Who knows? All
Thank
right.
you so
Party
much, Paul,
time.
for having me.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. See you guys. All right. Thank you, Melina. All right.
Bye.
Okay, later. Bye bye.